Well, that had to be the craziest Side of the Hustle play in the history of Side of the Hustle.
When we both feel like they're playing well and doing the little things right, when the opportunities come, they're going to make plays, and that's what we have to stay consistent with.
From the sidelines, we gotta hustle cause we gotta eat. From the sidelines, we got some goals that we still gotta reach. Too complex, much too complex, too complex.
What up? This is Coach Leibs, and welcome to a week behind the hustle, taking you guys behind the scenes into the weekly workflow with me and my clients during a typical NFL game week. This Monday with the Giants, they were coming off a Thursday night game, so we had a little bit more time. So we left early Monday morning from Atlanta. Myself, my wife, Luke, my assistant coach who also does all of our content. There were crazy storms coming into the Northeast, so we actually left early, like a 7 a.m. flight. Got into New York pretty early, landed, had my guy Melvin pick us up on the Uber. Even when I was in the car going from LaGuardia to the hotel in New Jersey, continuing my work, grading the games. Mondays are typically self-scout day. The self-scout process, self-scout just means that I am scouting the self, right? So I'm not scouting the opponent, but I'm scouting our actual clients' games. Super important part of our process, but a lot of it is really just, again, like I train them, I get to know them as people, I get to know them as brothers, like I know what their best looks like. And then as soon as we landed at the hotel, I'm immediately getting into voiceovers. Kind of had to squeeze in as many of the voiceovers as I possibly could and get them done in as fast a time as I could without obviously compromising the quality of it. I think I did Chase Brown's, maybe the Andres as well. Olamide Zaccheaus, who plays for the Bears, they were playing Monday night. So we did our pregame call Monday, like early evening or early afternoon after he was done with meetings, just kind of finalizing the way we wanted him to attack each DB. Then went to the field, this indoor facility in New Jersey with the three Giants guys, Slayton, Wandale, and Theo Johnson. Kind of had solo sessions for each guy, different ball drills planned, different corrections from the Thursday game to get right, and just little nuances for each guy that I wanted to work on. Again, that was about 4 hours on the field. Came home, Slade drove us back to the hotel, changed, showered, and then went out to eat with all the Giants guys, just as like an opportunity just to kind of relax, bond. We watched OZ play at my boy Ant's family's restaurant, and just had a good time. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's as important as the work, the feedback, the coaching, like just spending quality time together as brothers, I think is always important too, and spend time with them off the field, allow them to see me in my true form, not just when I'm coaching, and see how I am around my wife, see how I am around people, see how I am as a normal person. The more we can bond and get to know each other, to me, the harder I can coach them, the more direct I can be with them. They know that everything I'm saying is from a place of love. I think you do a good job being patient, good job being square. Every Tuesday, no matter what, I'm traveling to see a client. So every other week I go to New York. About once a month I go to Vegas to see Jacoby Myers. About once a month I go to Cincinnati to see the Bengals guys, Chicago to see OZ. On this particular Tuesday, woke up, finished some self-scout, some more of the voiceovers to then get with my guys in person. Tuesday is their off day.
It's crazy because I used to host sessions here, so it's like wild. Like we had to find, usually we had an indoor, but the weather wasn't too bad and we were gonna train on grass, but that would be muddy. We wanted to be outside. And I'm like going through my old Sideline Hustle maps of fields that I used to train on 5-6 years ago when we were training high school kids. And then like I haven't been here since I remember specifically having a group of like 6 or 7 high school kids here like 5 years ago, and now the whole New York Giants squad going pull up at the same field. Good full circle moment.
On this particular Tuesday, again, the Giants guys were coming off of a Thursday night game, so they have had an extra few days of rest. Usually we're very light and minimal with the movement. On this Tuesday, they had a little bit more legs, they had some more energy for me, but then again was on the field for a good 5 hours, longer sessions. So Wandale and I specifically, he's healthy right now, and he's kind of been the lead receiver since Slay and Malik have been hurt. So Dale and I did a lot of really good work on just his approaches, his underneath approaches to how he wants to attack option routes, choice routes. He did some good things versus the Eagles, but started off playing a little bit high and slow, which I didn't love, so we kind of made some of those corrections. I'm talking about this now the night of the game versus the Broncos, and Dale took the work that we did on Tuesday and applied it to the field the whole game, and pretty much dominated the whole game. So that was a really, really cool thing to see, and to watch the work show up. Had about hour and a half with Theo, who We actually did a lot of good work. Body was a little bit banged up, so didn't run around as much as we wanted, but did a lot of good walkthrough and catching work. Corrected some of the plans that he took on Thursday night versus the Eagles and came up with some better ones. We Ubered to a different field to meet Slay. Slay's dealing with a knee and a hamstring right now, which actually kept him out of this game versus the Broncos. But we still got a lot of our catching work in. Guys always need volume catching work to keep their mechanics sharp. And when we're catching, I'm not talking about like throwing them footballs. Like, we do a lot of different drills that make the catching drills harder than the catches they'll make in a game. We call it adversity catches, just all kinds of different things, whether it be balance catches, lunge catches, turn and react, different angles, different rhythms, different tempos. We use the synaptic glasses that's flash to kind of make them have to track the ball with a little bit more focus. Got all kinds of things that we do during the season to keep their catching mechanics, their eyes, just their whole catching process sharp. But Tuesday, like I said, I'm always on site with a client, and it always consists of, a good hour or two of ball drills, corrections from the week before, building for the future, and then we'll take a break, we'll eat, and then we'll watch film that evening. And the film kind of varies depending on what each guy needs focus on. Generally, it's some form of watching the previous game in person, so they just hear the feedback from me in real time, and then moving on to the next opponent and just getting a jump start on that opponent. In this particular instance, I was over at Wandale's house. I was doing the last voiceover on the car ride to Dale's. We watched the Denver Broncos on Tuesday just to give him like the common themes to build around and take into the week, so he knew kind of how to build his plans, how to think about the opponent, how we wanted to attack them. And it's always good when I can get that on his mind on like a Tuesday, because now he can tailor the way he's practicing and attacking the scout team with some of those themes. Malik, who's unfortunately out with an ACL, he hopped on the call as well, just because he loves being involved, loves staying in the flow with us, loves continuing to learn, and it's just great to have him included. Then I got home and actually went over to Malik's house for about 2 hours just to kind of bond with him and spend some time with him, because he just needs good people around him and needs to be checked up on while he's dealing with his injury. So it's always a grind throughout the day. Also on Tuesdays, I'm just in and out of calls with different clients just to recap where they're at, hear their thoughts on the feedback I've given them, and just staying in touch with them throughout the day. So that's a typical Tuesday for the Sideline Hustle.
Routes Like Picasso, the show that counts down the top 10 routes every single week in the NFL. This is your boy, Coach Leaves. And
Wednesday, a typical Wednesday, that's my travel day. That's when I travel back from the in-person visit back to Denver, where I'm living during the season. But before we start the travel, before I leave, the first thing I do is record Routes Like Picasso. My team has basically anywhere from 30 to 40 routes from the week kind of picked out in a folder for me. I kind of buzz through all the routes, pick out a top 10, pick the order. I'm very particular about the order, very particular about kind of who is in it, and try to be objective and honest and truthful with what I feel like are actually the best routes of the week. Like, I just want it to be very informative, very educational. We take it very seriously. I give myself time to wake up in the hotel, assess the top 10, and immediately record 10 through 6. Get it to my team, and they're able to edit it and get it out there by Wednesday afternoon. And then Thursday, when I'm home in Denver, we can kind of set up the camera, get my face on it a little bit, and be a little more detailed in the descriptions when I'm kind of settled. And Thursdays when we record the top 5. Once Routes Like Picasso's over, head to the airport and really starting to dive in on the opponent scout. So that's where I just grind out the film. I'm watching multiple different opponents, just trying to find the tendencies, scouting each DB, helping the guys create plans for their major routes. That's when that process starts for me on a Wednesday. But yeah, Wednesday's a travel day, getting my bearings back in Denver, trying to create a bit of a routine for myself, staying super tuned in with the film. It's like a good 10 to 12 hour film day. When I got home, hadn't seen Evan in about 2 weeks because he was in Philly, and then they flew right from Philly to London, so he was in London for a week. So we're generally working 3 or 4 days a week. We hadn't seen each other in I think 12, 13 days. So he came over Wednesday night for us to just kind of talk, catch up, just assess everything going on and kind of make a plan for the rest of the week. So that was great to see him, great to just feel his energy and feel where he's at with everything, and help him through some different things that are on his mind. And then I'm up till about 12 or 1 o'clock Wednesdays, just watching the film and getting everything done for the guys to prepare for Thursday.
Welcome back to week 6 of Routes Like Picasso. At number 5, we have Parker Washington on this slot comeback route.
Thursday, that's my first full day settled in Denver, where I'm waking up, in the same place 2 days in a row. Again, waking up, diving into the film work, the opponent scout, another 10 to 12 hours, film day where I'm just watching a ton of film. I like to have Evan's opponent pretty much finalized. I like to have the Giants' opponent pretty much finalized as far as how their DBs play, what their tendencies are, how we want to attack them. We have a very, very detailed scouting report. Because we had, again, the Bengals played Thursday versus the Steelers, I had another call with Andre to kind of finalize his plans. He came off a game the week before with a couple drops, so I know it was just some things for us to kind of talk through. He was in his head about some things, and we had a great talk that kind of set the tone for the week and really set the tone for the rest of the season, just about how I want him to approach adversity and overcome adversity and deal with that process. Around 5:30, I believe it was, drove to the Broncos facility. While driving to the facility Thursday to meet Evan for our ball drill work and our walkthrough, just kind of went into a deep dive on why I do what I do, why I think the work is important, what the purpose of the work is, and all the details of the process week to week. What is it? It's 5:23 Mountain Time, Denver, Colorado. We're headed to the practice facility. Every Thursday, Evan and I get a bunch of ball drills in the indoor, walk through some of the plays he's going to have, and just like recreate all the potential catches so he kind of sees the ball in from all these angles, visualizes some of the routes he's going to run. I just feel like this, just what we do is just so important. Like, these kids need guidance. They need constant feedback. They need constant affirmation. They need direct feedback on how to get better. Just giving them kind of like a path to each game, their path to their best performances. I feel like that's kind of what we lay out through the prep work, through the film study, building on plans and techniques we created in the off season, and just holding them to their highest standard. Like, I think that's really the thing, is like, we take so much time building relationships with these kids. They know that I want the best for them. They know how much I love them. We've spent so much time together. So now, like, they know the intent of everything I'm saying and where it comes from. And I'm very hard on them in season, just holding them to their highest standard. And every route, every step, every play is evaluated. In receiver play, it's such a up and down position where you don't even control how many times or if or when you'll touch the ball. So receivers especially need something to stay consistent with and stay steady with. We have to kind of create our own value system just to stay sane. They're involved in each game, but can go through spells throughout a game that they have to stay steady through. Players that can be very uninvolved for weeks at a time. And that doesn't mean they're not playing well. It just means the game plan or the defense or the quarterback, whatever it is taking the ball elsewhere. But we really create a system of just evaluating their film and evaluating their process and giving them really positive things to hang their hat on, or giving them very direct feedback on what needs to get better. And I think it's just really important for the receiver position, because their worth is really determined by the numbers they put up, but they're not always even in control of how to put up those numbers. So if they only judge themselves on how many catches, how many yards they have, it's going to be a roller coaster of emotions each year. So I think this really keeps them steady, just our system, our approach. And then some of the top clients, I see them throughout the season. Like, I'm living here in Denver with Evan. I just think that the in-season work is important, just to bring them back to basics, just to refine the details, watch how they're catching the ball, watch how they're moving, and give them very specific cues that can just keep them back on track. Because we get things so sharp in the off season, but we're also working 3-4 days a week. So you just accumulate so many reps, things are sharp, but then you don't get that many reps at things during the season, like during preseason. So things naturally fall off. And I think every year with each guy, there's just different aspects of the game that need to be cleaned up, or different aspects of how they're seeing the ball, how they're catching the ball. The film always determines everything. The film is going to speak for you. We talk about the silent movie, your silent movie is your film, and that's what you're judged based off of. People determine how much of a success you are based on the way that silent movie looks and feels. So that is the judgment of everything. That is the judgment of whether our work is showing up. That is what makes me feel good or bad about my contributions in coaching. It's not really about the numbers, because the numbers aren't always in our control. They take our grade sheets and our game evaluation very seriously, because we know that when we both feel like they're playing well and doing the little things right, when the opportunities come, they're going to make plays, and that's what we have to stay consistent with. So it's a beautiful thing, but it's also, it just takes a lot. It takes a lot to keep the guys where they need to be, keep them focused. We don't want to have the lulls and the peaks and valleys. We want to stay steady and keep competing at our highest level. And then it's really just the mental work. Jacoby calls me his accountability partner, and I think that's really the most important part of the whole thing. These guys just need people they love and trust to hold them accountable and hold them to their best self, and someone who they know wants the best in them and is willing to hold them to that, but I also have the skills and the knowledge to give specific feedback and give specific solutions to their problems. It's not just like you need to be better. It's here's how to be better. Here are the things you need to work on. This is what you should be thinking about. So today specifically, going to see Ev, going to introduce some of the plans to attack the Giants with. Gonna catch in good volume from all the different angles. And then we will watch the Thursday night game, watch some film, and feel like we are stage one of the Giants process is complete, and we kind of have an idea of how we want to attack the personnel. Today we kind of zoom in on each individual, and then we kind of zoom back out and figure out how it's going to apply to the actual game plan. Evan and I then had about an hour and a half workout at the facility after he practiced, had meetings, all that. It ends up being a long day for him, but that's really where we separate ourselves, is doing some extra ball drill work, correcting any catches that have given him trouble throughout this week or the week before. And then Thursday night, we watch, about an hour, 2 hours of film together, kind of confirming those plans. That's when I'll present. And this week we're playing the Giants. So, I'm kind of introducing the Giants and the plan to him on Thursday while we're doing our walkthrough and our ball drills. And Thursday night, that's when we kind of finalize the plan. He gets to really dive into the cut-ups I've created. He sees it on film. He confirms everything that I'm saying. He sees the visuals and all that. He feels like he understands the defense. He understands the personnel he's attacking, and he is, ready to kind of build his plans and build his game. Slay was hurt this week. Usually I have my Thursday night call with Slay as well. He was making the decision whether he's going to play on Friday. Ended up not playing. We pushed that call back, but that was also replaced with the Thursday night game because we had our Bengals guys playing Thursday night, where Chase had his first 100-yard rushing game of the season, which was great to see. I think 11 carries, 100-something yards, averaged like 10, 11 yards a carry. Dropped an early pass and overcame adversity. Same with Andre, dropped an early pass, overcame adversity, and made one of the game-sealing plays towards the end, a really great route and release for Darius Slay.
Let's go! Look at this release, boy. Right through his hands. Physical. Woo! Bitch. Bitch. Yeah, Dre. Let's go. Hell yeah.
Executed the plan perfectly. So it was really cool watching them perform and show up for their team and overcome adversity in prime time. So that was a big moment Thursday. Great boost just in general for us to see that, and always great to see the work show up and watch the guys, overcome adversity. Because as much as it's great to scout the opponent, to do the self-scout, like what I really feel like this work helps them do is allows them to stay resilient. It allows them to continue believing in themselves. And really what I think defines the Sideline Hustle as a family is our ability to overcome adversity and continue to believe in ourselves and continue to stay steady and building a routine and a foundation that just allows us to be our best self even after some of the worst moments. But left Thursday night feeling great. And then Thursday night, after the Thursday night game, Jacoby kind of had a check and call with him Thursday night just to see where his head was at, to see how his body was feeling, give him some good advice and just brotherhood on what decision I think he should make and what I thought was best for him. Whenever these guys are dealing with injury or dealing with their teams, like, I'm just here to support them. I'm here to express my opinion and then support whatever they decide. Because at the end of the day, they are the drivers of this ship. They're the captains, they're the leaders, they're the CEOs. So it's all I can do is kind of just support them, be there for them, be honest with them about what I think, and then support whatever decision they make. Truly, gave it everything he could to try and make it go, but ultimately had to be smart and not put himself at further risk because he just felt like he couldn't be himself. That was our Thursday. A lot of different calls, a lot of different film study, and getting to work with Evan in person. On a normal game week, Friday is kind of more like Wednesday, Thursday. In this particular week, because we had a couple guys banged up and because we had the Bengals guys play on Thursday, it was a bit of a lighter Friday. And whenever I can find some of these lighter moments, I try to give the free time to spend with my wife and connect with her. So we were able to go on a nice long walk, which we go on walks daily. That's kind of a non-negotiable for us. We start pretty much every day with a walk together just to connect and be in nature and start the day off right. But we were able to spend some more time just walking trails here in Denver. Went to a coffee shop to get some work done, just to get out the house and kind of change the scenery. Then around 3 o'clock, that's when my calls start. I had a call at Wandale, checked in with Slayton. Slayton tried to practice Friday. Felt good, but didn't feel like his full self, so decided that he wasn't playing on Friday. I think I might have checked in with Theo, but when Kobe got into the hotel Friday, I think it was around like 9:30, 10 o'clock. That's when we did our opponent scout call on the Chiefs. And like I said, even though we knew he was going to be a game time decision, our work can't change. But then again, a little bit lighter day. Evan has a day full of body work and whatnot after the building, so I kind of let him be and do his thing. Whenever I can take these lighter days, like when I was younger, I used to try to catch up on work and work ahead. Now I'm kind of a little bit wiser, and I know just to take the times when you can get it to kind of relax a little bit more, be present, live a little bit more normal routine, especially connect with Bree whenever I can. So that was Friday. Saturday is my one off day, although in the past it used to be a true off day. Now with the amount of clients that I'm managing throughout the season, I don't really get a full day off. But it is my day to explore Denver with Bree, do some fun stuff outside the house, kind of take our mind off football a little bit. On home games for Evan, we get an extra ball drill session in. This is where we know the opponent, we know the plan, and we're able to be a little more detailed with the routes we know he's gonna run and kind of going through the different catches and the different scenarios there. Got about 45-minute ball drill session in outside. It was super windy out, but still got some good work in. We had the middle of the day free, so that's just some time when I try to get away from football, get away from the game, spend some time with Bree. Saturday night, the Giants flew into Denver for their game Sunday, so stopped by a restaurant to see Wandale where he was having dinner with some people. Checked up on him real quick before the game, and around 8 p.m. our time, had my opponent scout call with OZ. He's already watched the film, he's watched the cut-ups that I presented for him. He kind of has a good feel, and that's that. Called Theo Johnson as well just to check in with him. Wasn't able to see him at the hotel, just make sure his mind was right, and that was pretty much the day Saturday. We woke up Sunday for the game. Game day is always great, and saw a bunch of our boys play each other and saw one of the most epic, back and forth, crazy, ridiculous finishes you'll ever see.
Last game here is a 2nd and 10. The dancing dart chased by Benito Cruz, and it's caught. Robinson, what a crab step. Fake the scatter to a 1st and 10. Dart has got his receiver. That's caught by Robinson. Dart to the air. Aluminum up wide. Dart will find his receiver. It's caught in Theo Johnson as he gallops to the 40-yard line and upended on the play. They need big field. Dart, Thomas a block. Robinson looking for a block. And he comes into Schwarm and he takes it outside. He's got the first down. Dobbins a block to the end zone. Deflected and Franklin goes on the ricochet. Touchdown, Denver.
That was a fucking route.
Scattered back, 3rd and 17. And caught a pass, caught on the ricochet. That's grabbed him by the galloping Johnson. He'll be chased to the play by Barron. They'll get in. He did. Touchdown.
Hale dropped it. Yeah. Theo picked it up. Well, that had to be the craziest Side of the Hustle play in the history of Side of the Hustle.
Diggs underneath. Ingram. Standing and finally brought down by Belton. It's a catch and run. He's inside the 20. Here they come. Here he goes. And it is probably caught. Robinson reels it in, but he's got it.
That's 2 straight 30-point performances with Dale and Theo leading the way in the pass game. So it's a great thing just to see them grow. I was just telling them after, we just spent some time with our Giants guys in the family section, and both guys were disappointed. It's obviously terrible to lose a game in that fashion when you feel like you have it won so many times, but it's just so great to watch them grow. So great to continue just watching them develop and watching them, put the work to life. It's a proud moment. A tip ball for a touchdown to Theo, a tip ball for a touchdown to Troy Franklin. Dale led the whole game in receiving, and Evan made some big plays down the stretch, man. So just great to see the boys ball in one of the craziest games I've ever been to in person. Really cool that of all the weeks, this was the week that we got to capture and document.
But that was the week behind the hustle. It's a lot that goes into it. It's a grind. It never ends, but there is not a better feeling in the world than sitting with myself on a Saturday night knowing that I did everything I could to prepare these boys, you know, just kind of reflecting on the value that I'm able to provide these guys and how much they believe in me, how much I believe in them, how much I feel the work really translates. And it's just always a great feeling, you know, once the week of prep is over. And regardless of what happens on Sunday, good, bad, or ugly, knowing that I gave everything and I did everything I could for each guy is an incredible feeling and really unmatched and really what keeps me going. Try to find some balance during the week, try to be a good husband, try to keep up with my family and my friends. But really, like, the mission is the mission, and there's not much that can get in the way of that. And the more we grow, the more intense the mission becomes, which are great problems to have. But we're managing a lot of guys right now, keeping a lot of guys playing at a super high level, and you know, it takes a lot. But shout out to my team, first of all, my wife supporting me, but Luke and Noah behind the scenes, they really keep everything together. Bree keeps everything together all around me, and it just allows us to do some things that are pretty crazy and pretty great. And again, it's really a cool feeling just to feel the impact we're having on these guys each week.
We got some goals that we still gotta reach.